Millions of Americans walk the streets of our major cities every single day, completely oblivious to what lies beneath the pavement. We obsess over the skylines above us, but we rarely consider the massive, silent structures buried deep in the dark. In 1924, construction crews near DuPont Circle in Washington, D.C. broke through the earth and stumbled into an electrically lit maze of concrete tunnels stretching for hundreds of feet. Harrison Dyer, an eccentric Smithsonian scientist, spent 6 years digging this subterranean labyrinth entirely by hand, claiming he did it simply for exercise. Dyer's project proved a chilling point. If a single man could hide a sprawling tunnel network right beneath the nation's capital, the most powerful government on Earth could conceal something far larger. Born in the paranoia of the Cold War, the United States initiated a protocol known as Continuity of Government, or COG. This directive led the military to hollow out mountains and bury entire cities. This chart illustrates the core logic of COG, apocalyptic triage. It is a mathematical calculation separating the massive general population from a tiny, isolated apex of people deemed essential leadership to rebuild society. The government spent billions of dollars executing this triage, constructing an exclusive doomsday network, completely walled off from civilian fallout shelters. This raises a question that defines the structure of our democracy. When the nuclear sirens finally sound, who exactly gets a ticket inside this shadow empire? For the military elite, the answer lies hidden beneath this dense forest on the Pennsylvania-Maryland border. Officially, it's Site R. Internally, it's known as Raven Rock, the Pentagon's ultimate doomsday fortress. The entrance is sealed by massive steel blast doors, each 3 feet thick and weighing 30 tons, designed to swing shut and lock in seconds. Inside the cavern, 5 freestanding buildings are mounted on a massive grid of heavy-duty steel springs. If a nuclear bomb detonates nearby, this seismic isolation system allows them to physically float, absorbing the shockwave without structural collapse. Raven Rock is an active facility. On September 11, 2001, as chaos engulfed the country, the Continuity of Government protocol was immediately triggered. Top-tier defense officials, including Deputy Secretary of Defense Paul Wolfowitz, were evacuated by helicopter and rushed in SUVs straight into Site R's tunnels. Raven Rock ensures the chain of command survives, but it was built strictly for the Pentagon, leaving the elected political body, the actual lawmakers, exposed. The solution to that vulnerability was Project Greek Island, a colossal subterranean city constructed exclusively to hide the entire United States Congress. Instead of burrowing into a remote mountain, planners chose a different kind of camouflage. They built this facility directly beneath wealthy vacationers at a luxury resort in West Virginia. To maintain the secret for 30 years, operatives posed as TV repairmen, disguised critical work areas, and hid doors behind fake wallpaper. This strategy of hiding in plain sight reveals a disturbing reality. The government actively constructed its own doomsday survival plans while the oblivious public walked literally right above it. These isolated bunkers are tied together by a classified nervous system of command hubs, like FEMA's Mount Weather, and deeply buried AT&T project offices. This communication network is engineered for extreme resilience, featuring copper-lined walls and rubber plumbing specifically designed to flex and survive during nuclear blasts. The multi-billion-dollar silence surrounding these massive projects inevitably fueled wild civilian myths, from wild rumors of lizard people beneath the Denver airport to alien genetic labs at the Dulce base. These wild theories serve as a distraction from a factual reality that is far more chilling because it is completely real. The final truth of the Continuity of Government protocol is that these subterranean cities are not designed to protect the American public. While citizens are pointed toward dated, inadequate fallout shelters, billions are spent securing the elite. If the sirens sound, military helicopters will descend to extract a select few based strictly on their rank. These protocols are designed to preserve specific offices, not families. The manifest is individual, containing no provisions for spouses or children. When those massive 30-ton doors finally seal shut, the governing elite will be entirely safe inside the earth. On the surface, the families of the very people inside the bunker and the rest of the country will be left behind to face the end alone. In the 1950s, high society gathered to sip cocktails and play golf at America's luxurious resorts. But directly beneath their feet, heavy machinery was carving massive, secretive caverns deep into the bedrock. The target of all that excavation was Project Greek Island. The government was building a continuity of government bunker explicitly designed to keep the United States Congress alive. They carved out an underground city meant to house over 1,000 people. It was fully equipped with its own power plant, a hospital, and a broadcast center for surviving politicians to address whatever remained of the nation. To protect this facility, they installed 28-ton steel blast doors. Then they hid those massive, unyielding vaults directly behind standard, floral-patterned hotel wallpaper. The deception required a human touch. The government created a fabricated front company called Forsyth Associates, filling it with highly classified technicians who roamed the hotel corridors disguised as ordinary TV repairmen. For 30 years, this multi-million-dollar illusion held up. Guests slept right above a nuclear fortress, entirely unaware until a 1992 newspaper exposé finally forced the operation into the light. But locking the military elite and top politicians inside isolated underground pockets creates a massive logistical blind spot during a nuclear exchange. If the surface goes dark, these leadership hubs have to maintain a highly secure way to coordinate with each other. Without a reliable communication grid, a bunker loses all function as a command center. It simply becomes a concrete tomb. Connecting these isolated islands across a radioactive wasteland required a level of hardened infrastructure that simply did not exist in the civilian world. The solution started in Virginia, at a FEMA relocation site known as Mount Weather. This facility serves as the central hub of the subterranean empire, acting as the primary civilian command center. Routing signals from Mount Weather out to the rest of the surviving world required an entirely different, vastly dispersed infrastructure. To build it, the U.S. government quietly formed a partnership with AT&T to construct a series of highly classified project offices all across the country. Despite the corporate branding, these were heavily fortified relay stations buried deep underground, disguised on the surface as mundane utility sites. By leveraging AT&T's existing civilian infrastructure, the government managed to weave a sprawling shadow network directly into the everyday fabric of American life, without drawing a single eye. To see the specific engineering required for this network, look at a North Carolina facility known as the Big Hole. The primary threat to this station was the invisible wave of an electromagnetic pulse from a nuclear blast, which instantly fries standard electronics. Engineers countered this by burying the entire structure 30 feet underground and wrapping its internal framework entirely in thick copper shielding to deflect the pulse. The facility also had to survive a brutal physical threat, the extreme, violent seismic convulsions triggered by atomic shock waves tearing through the crust. This diagram illustrates their structural solution. They engineered the facility with flexible rubber plumbing, specifically designed to stretch, bend, and absorb the violent shocks without snapping. By calculating and neutralizing these highly specific scenarios, the government proved they were actively constructing a machine to outlive doomsday. This map illustrates the scale of that effort. Over decades, the government buried hundreds of hidden facilities and billions of dollars silently beneath rural American fields. But when a nation hides multi-billion-dollar complexes from its own citizens, it creates a massive vacuum of information. Decades of silence on projects like the Greenbrier Bunker set a precedent. Once the public learns that an entire legislative chamber was hidden behind hotel wallpaper, the boundary for what seems plausible begins to shift. This suspicion feeds directly into modern urban legends. We see it in the intense public scrutiny over the civilian baggage tunnels beneath the Denver airport. It also extends to remote, unexplainable locations, like a heavily guarded, dusty mesa in New Mexico, rumored to hide the alien-centric Dulce base. The government successfully built a machine to outlive doomsday. But by burying that infrastructure in total silence, they ensured the public would spend the next half-century looking at mundane airports and desert mesas, trying to decipher terrors hiding beneath their feet. When a government spends decades burying billions of dollars into classified subterranean projects while refusing to answer basic questions, it creates an information vacuum. In that darkness, public imagination fills in the gaps with whatever it can find. At Denver International Airport, billions in budget overruns and years of construction delays were officially blamed on a failed automated baggage system. That explanation failed to satisfy a skeptical public, fueling rumors of a sprawling doomsday city hidden beneath the terminals. The airport's own aesthetic choices only deepened the suspicion. This 32-foot blue Mustang, often called the airport's demonic-looking mascot, stands as a bizarre, aggressive gatekeeper for those searching for clues in the architecture. Further south, near Archuleta Mesa in New Mexico, the stories become even more extreme. Local legends and self-proclaimed whistleblowers describe Dulce Base, a multi-level facility where they claim the government conducts genetic experiments alongside non-human entities. These legends of lizard people and alien treaties remain uncorrected by the officials they target. By allowing the public to fixate on extraterrestrial ghosts, the government keeps the focus away from the concrete, steel, and ledger sheets of its actual subterranean investments. This functions as an information smokescreen. A chaotic cloud of loud, erratic myths creates enough noise to effectively mask a single, rigid, geometric truth hidden directly beneath it. The projects buried under American soil are entirely human in origin. They are documented, staffed by federal employees, and paid for by everyday taxpayers, who are kept in the dark about their specific locations. Once the distraction of science fiction is removed, the remaining reality is a matter of cold logistical engineering. The physical proof of these investments lies in the continuity of government plan. This is a highly classified protocol designed to ensure the American state survives a total societal collapse. This plan is built into the geography of the country, using massive, military-grade blast doors like this one to seal off miles of tunnels from the world above. Housing the entire legislative branch requires more than a simple shelter. It requires a subterranean city. This is why the government built a massive secret bunker beneath the Greenbrier Resort, designed to replicate this entire chamber deep underground. These complexes utilize extreme engineering to remain operational during a crisis. Buildings are mounted on giant shock absorbers to survive seismic shifts from nuclear impacts, while copper-lined vaults protect communication equipment from the reach of electromagnetic pulses. These multi-billion-dollar infrastructure projects are functioning realities. They stand on permanent standby, waiting for the signal to activate. That signal occurs the moment a catastrophic threat, such as an incoming nuclear strike, is confirmed by early warning systems. The response begins at the nation's capital. Security teams move to secure the executive branch, initiating a precision sequence to clear the grounds and move high-value targets to safety. Black SUVs and military helicopters provide the transport, rapidly moving the chosen leadership out of the blast radius and toward the hardened mountain facilities. The extraction follows a strict hierarchy. The priority is given to key decision-makers and the upper echelon of the military apparatus, ensuring the chain of command remains intact while the rest of the world waits for impact. This precision extraction proves that the state's primary contingency is the preservation of its own operational core, regardless of the fate of the physical nation. Life inside a sealed mountain is governed by a series of absolute mathematical limits. There's a finite volume of oxygen, a set amount of recycled water, and strictly rationed food. To manage these resource constraints, the government applies a cold calculus. This data-driven visualization shows how the general population is mathematically filtered down to a tiny fraction of a percent to ensure the bunker's carrying capacity is never exceeded. This math is enforced by rules that override human sentiment. In many doomsday scenarios, even high-ranking officials are explicitly forbidden from bringing their spouses or children into the facility. The continuity of government plan is a logistical triage. It preserves the state by stripping away everything but the essential components of the chain of command. This reveals a stark civic reality. Billions in taxpayer revenue have funded these survival complexes for decades, yet the public who paid for them holds no seat at the table when the doors close. While the world above goes about its business, these subterranean cities are currently staffed and maintaining readiness, waiting in the dark. Every time you walk the streets of your city, you are walking above a parallel world designed to operate without you. The deepest secret of these underground cities lies in their architectural intent. They were built with this specific requirement that you would be left behind.